Welcome to Prepare to Survive, Pinellas County's E-Series presentation on disaster preparedness. I'm your host, Tom Iovino of the Pinellas County Communications Department. For the next half hour, we'll sound like a Cold War thriller with power, codes, and how they play into preparation for and recovery from disasters. Questions meeting our terms of participation on the blog will be posted. And if you don't get to your question, please leave your email so we can respond. Joining us today is Suzanne Grant, spokesperson for Progress Energy, to talk all things power when it comes to emergencies. This promises to be electrifying. Suzanne, thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Suzanne, let's talk about the importance of power in today's life. I mean, maybe 50 years ago, power wasn't that big of a deal, but today it's really, we're plugged in more than ever.
We definitely are. It's an essential service. We know that. We don't even need to hear from our customers that because we live it every day. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now without electricity. And we really, as a society, take electricity for granted. We flip a switch and we expect it to come on, and it should come on. That's our job at Progress Energy, and we do everything in our power to ensure that it will come on, regardless of natural disasters and the impact that they can have on the electric system.
And natural disasters, there could be any form. They could be a hurricane, they could be a severe thunderstorm in the summer, could be a tornado, could be anything along those lines. How do you guys prepare for the eventuality of something like that?
Well, in the electric business, we prepare again, and then keep practicing our preparedness plan. We have a disaster plan, and we have sub-plans for every type of natural disaster you can think of, and then probably some that you've never thought of either, like solar flares and what impact they could have to the electric infrastructure. So we really practice our plan and make sure that we're able to deal with the emergency and get the power on as quickly and as safely as possible to our customers. We have more than 1.6 million customers throughout Florida in 35 counties, and 500,000 of those are right here in Pinellas County. And we know they're counting on us. And so our crews are, trained and ready to go out there and restore the power as quickly as possible when it does go out due to a natural disaster.
That's good to know that people are standing by ready to take care of the problem. When we start to think about preparation, when you guys are training for this, what are some of the disasters that you plan for, and what are some of the resources you have in the county to handle preparing for and then recovering from a smaller event?
Well, generally, a lot of times what we think of, the main type of disaster here in Pinellas County that people think of that would impact electric system is a hurricane. And so we have dedicated hurricane plans that impact each one of our power plants. So what would happen to that particular power plant and how they would respond if there was an emergency, a hurricane that was impacting that particular plant. And then we also have plans and drill for each of the operating centers, the transmission sites where the power is brought from the plants into the communities. We have planning experts, we have emergency preparedness experts on our staff, and we also are able to tap into national industry experts to ensure that our plans are the best they possibly could be. We've been recognized for our response when we've had some natural disasters in the past from industry experts because our disaster response was done so well. So we know that when push comes to shove, we have the right training and the right materials ready to go. We stage things in advance. It's really quite fascinating as you begin to learn. I've been with the company for 3 years, and every day I learn more. But when we see like a hurricane coming, we're able to plan well in advance. We watch that tracking. We have our own meteorologists where we are looking and seeing how that's going to impact our area. And we begin to stage things days before a hurricane could even potentially impact our area. We look and see where could it impact our area, and we stage poles and trucks, and we stage sometimes showers for our crew and sleeping trailers for our crew. We really plan to be self-contained should there be a big outage due to a Mother Nature event of weather.
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of the angles covered, but certainly one of the things that we have to deal with is what's currently in the ground, what's currently up on the poles. Now, I know Pinellas County has been developed extensively since the end of World War II. How much has the power grid been able to keep up with the times and made improvements over the years? Is that more storm hardened than it's ever been before?
That's one of the things that we work on year round. It's called storm hardening. And so year round, we have plans in place where we are hardening our systems. Oftentimes that comes to trimming trees. That sometimes is controversial. Customers and the company, we love our trees. We think they're a beautiful part of our community, but those trees cause problems when the wind blows them into the power lines or where they fall on power lines. So we have a comprehensive program that ensures the trees are trimmed to federal standards to lessen the impact they may have during severe weather or high winds, that type of thing. We have plans in place to ensure that the poles are monitored and replaced as necessary before they reach the end of their pole lifespan, if you could think that a pole has a lifespan, but it does, to ensure that those poles are sturdy. And we're constantly looking to see at the new technology. So you will see in Pinellas County in some areas we have moved from what we call wooden transmission poles. Transmission are the heavy-duty lines that bring the power from the generating site into the city. Some of those lines have been, poles have been moved to concrete structures or to steel structures from wood poles, and that's also storm hardening. So this is an ongoing plan. It is years in the making and is worked on every single day.
Great. It's good to see that kind of preparation in advance. And speaking about preparation, when a storm is starting to threaten, and I know the 2004 Hurricane Charlie, where we were looking at an impact mere hours out, what kind of things would Progress Energy do to protect their equipment that's out, say, in vulnerable areas, say on the beaches? Would you guys do any particular steps to protect the equipment?
When a hurricane is coming in our area and it's been forecasted to impact one of our service territories, we'll look and see what facilities we have there. Generally, we're looking at our generation plants. So we want to ensure that those are protected. So we do a lot of the same things that you might do at your home or business. We put up hurricane shutters. We bring in equipment that we can't bolt down, and to ensure that we will have less things blowing around. So those are the types of things that we do to our operating plants, our generating plants. And the same thing with our different properties that we own throughout the communities. We're battening down our own hatches, but we're also ensuring that our employees are taking care of their home fronts so they can get back to work and be dedicated during the storm. So when most people are running home and putting up hurricane shutters and going to the store, the expectation is that our employees will have already done that, and they've already been instructed to do that. So 72 hours before a hurricane hits, our employees are expected to have already taken care of their home and family, and they're back at work ready to get the power system situated and work on making sure that any impact will be minimized.
All right, Suzanne, say the worst has happened. We've actually seen a hurricane make landfall. What are some of the things that people need to be aware of when it comes to the power system? What are some of the most important messages you guys want to get out?
The number one message is that when there are power lines that are down, stay away from them. You cannot tell if a power line is energized or not. That is something that is highly dangerous, and it needs to be reported to us. There's a lot of ways that you can report it, whether it's an outage or a dangerous situation like a power line across your home or maybe across even your front door. We have an 800 number, and we also have an opportunity for you to report a power outage on your computer or your mobile device at progress-energy.com. And that's a new feature in the last year or so, to be able to do some of that power outage reporting on your iPad or your mobile phone, that type of thing. Something that our customers really like, because oftentimes, especially in today's world, people are away from home when there's a power outage, or they aren't able to, find their bill, find their phone, that type of thing. They want to be able to have all the different aspects of being able to report their power outage. So safety is really the number one consideration. We want to know that your power is out, and we want to know if there's an unsafe situation. So when you call our 800 outage line, you can choose two different things: one, to report an outage, or two, if there's an emergency situation. And that emergency situation would be where there's life or limb at risk. Mm-hmm. And we ask our customers to use that emergency designation only when it truly is an emergency, and that will get someone to an immediate representative who will deal with that special situation. But I really want to encourage people that you need to call us and let us know when your power is out, whether it's just a summer tropical thunderstorm or a severe event. The reason we need to know that your particular power is out is once we come to your neighborhood and restore power, you could still be out because we don't know you're out, and there's
Certainly.
maybe a special different issue with your power. So it's important that customers do use either our automated phone or our online reporting tools.
Suzanne, one more important thing we have to talk about: generators. I know that the line crews, when they come into the area, if they hear generators working, they may not even touch the lines to restore them. Why is that happening?
Well, I think that may be more urban legend than reality, but
Really?
generators we know are very, very popular, especially from folks from had past hurricanes. They've got those generators sitting there. But it's important that you prepare in advance for disasters and prepare in advance for your generator use. A generator is really best used run outside where it's well ventilated, and then you hook up individual electric items to the generator using heavy-duty outdoor extension cords. So hook your refrigerator up to the generator directly with an extension cord to keep your food fresh. Hook your TV up if that's important.
And you should never plug your generator into one of your outlets, because it's a thing called backfeeding, right?
That is correct, and that is a dangerous situation for our crews as well as those people in your neighborhood. Now, some people do hire electricians to hook their generator in directly to their circuit breaker, and then they'll have a master switch for that, and that would allow their generator to run their entire home. That's kind of a special situation. That's not the do-it-yourself or go to Home Depot and pick up the generator. Most generators that people have are going to be the kind they picked up at a big box store. They're going to run it for a couple of hours at a time as needed, or run it to use their refrigerator. Those can be very safe. We just ask that customers use UL listed outdoor extension cords and plug directly into the appliances that they're looking to run, so that we don't have that backfeed issue that you talk about, Tom.
Okay. We've got about a minute left. What do you really want to communicate? Is there anything you want to communicate to our viewers right now? Just one last piece of information.
Yeah, I would encourage customers to plan in advance as Progress Energy plans in advance. If our customers create their own storm plans, get supplies ready, have a phone that can plug into the wall and doesn't require electricity, those types of things are really going to help them make sure they have their water, batteries, those types of items. And also I encourage customers, if they're interested in using our online reporting tool, to sign up in advance, and so that when they do have an outage, they're already signed up. The last thing you want to be doing when you don't have any power is fumbling around looking for your account number and things on your laptop or your iPad in the dark. So I encourage you to look into that before a disaster hits.
And Suzanne, the website and the phone number again, please, for our viewers.
Sure. The Progress Energy website is www.progress-energy.com/storm will get you to a lot of interesting storm information. And our outage number is 800-228-8485. You can report outages there or also on our website.
Perfect. Suzanne, I want to thank you very much for coming on today. That was some really good information. And don't go away. We'll be right back with Dave Howdeshell, lead inspector with Pinellas County's Building and Development Review Services, to talk about building codes and how they help keep little disasters from turning into big ones. Stay tuned.